September 13, 2021 has been etched into my thoughts for the past 2 years. Coming with that was some anxiety about how to deliver my final address to you, along with some excitement that celebrating that you had finally finished. Before that date arrived, unfortunately, we had our last face-to-face class together and our last face-to-face year assembly together without even realising it. It's been an interesting year around the world, but thankfully, almost 3 months later, with some added bonus time together, you've made it. We've made it. Today is all about celebrating the conclusion of 13 years of education. Through adversity, you have reached the other side. The higher school certificate, finished. Every single person in this room, parents and caregivers, teachers, but none more so than you, Year 12, should be proud of that. No other year group ever has had a similar journey to you. Good morning, Miss Kamaz, Miss Waskenyan, Miss Taylor and Miss Garcia. Good morning, staff and students of Ku-ring-gai High School, and a very warm welcome to the graduating class of 2021 and parents, caregivers and guests. When I look at the structure this speech is meant to take, introduce yourself, share good and helpful advice, share the good experiences, a motivational quote, and end with the thank yous, it doesn't really make sense to me. So I'm going to do this in reverse, because while the thank yous are important, it's not the part of my speech I'd like you to take away today. To Ms. Terry-Ann Kamaz, thank you for your leadership for this cohort since I was in Year 7 in 2016. You've guided us through ups and downs and provided so many opportunities to experience and grow. Ms. Danielle Waskenyan, thank you for more recently helping us navigate through the higher school certificate examinations, making sure our students feel supported throughout the process. Miss Yvonne Garcia, Mr. John Bramald, and more recently, Miss Trudy Taylor, thank you for all of your assistance over Year 12's journey. From logistics to wellbeing to learning from home and readying us for the higher school certificate examinations. To the TAS faculty, thank you for taking an endless amount of phone messages and student queries at the staff room door when I was out and about somewhere in the school. To Miss Eloise Johnston, thank you for jumping on board as the Assistant Year Advisor and helping make sure everything was finalised and organised for every excursion, year assembly and event. Your ongoing support of Year 12 has been invaluable and appreciated. To Ms. Kim Vidler, a very, very special thank you for not only the past 6 years that you have been front and centre to support Year 12 through their high school journey, but also a big thank you for the past 33 years of service to public education. As someone who has had the rare privilege of going from a Ku-ring-gai High School student to now your colleague, your support, professionalism and encouragement has been very much appreciated. Year 12. The high school story you have written is different for each and every one of you, some with more challenges than others. But amongst all of your stories, I hope that it has been 6 years of friendship, growth and learning. People focus on marks and blazers. Of course, achieving your personal best is important. Achieving your personal best, however, is unique for each and every person. Success is how you define it, not what everyone else says it must be for you. For you, it might be the top mark in a class, a course, or the state. Or it could be simply knowing you got the job done in the midst of your own individual challenges. In actual fact, the thing people should focus on are the values that a school instills. And there is no better place to instill values than from a school that comes from the idea that everyone can go there. A public school, Ku-ring-gai High School. Be proud of this school, your school, and your time spent here. It is a school that proudly boasts its underpinning encapsulating belief of harmony in diversity. Aside from English, maths and science, I hope it taught you patience, collaboration, looking after your mates, acceptance of those any colour, any race, any religion, any orientation. Valuable gifts to take with you forever and wherever life's journeys take you. Year 12, you may remember that I asked you earlier in the year about the best thing about Ku-ring-gai High School, something that's spoken about in almost every noteworthy speech I've heard here. with so many saying it's the environment, the national park on our doorstep. Is that fantastic? Absolutely. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better learning environment. But the best thing, it doesn't even come close. Ku-ring-gai High School is a community. A community is made by the people in it. When I asked you earlier this year, every single response was about the Ku-ring-gai High School community. The people, the interactions you have with your friends, other students, the teachers. Everyone sort of knows each other. Everyone is so supportive. All 80 of you have contributed in some way to that community, to make Ku-ring-gai High School a friendly and welcoming place. Year 12, I hope when you walk out the door today and into the future, you're proud to be a product of Ku-ring-gai High School, because we are, and always will be, proud to have you as part of our community. A community, Year 12, you can proudly call your own. School has been a safe space where you can try new things, but as you prepare to start the next chapter of your journey, there are some other lessons I hope you remember from your time here. Success is how you define it, not what everyone else says it must be for you. Success is ultimately about spending your life happily in your own way. You don't have to be flashy to be impressive. You don't have to be famous to be significant. You don't have to be a celebrity to be successful. You don't need to be validated by anyone else. You are already valuable. You just need to believe in yourself and what you wish to achieve. You can be quietly humble and still amazingly effective. Quiet success, my favourite kind, is just as sweet as loud, flamboyant success, and usually far more real. Achieving your personal best is unique for each and every person. Don't think that you must always strive for perfection. This might sound a little strange, so it's important to remember that it is very different from striving for your personal best. Take a breath. No one is perfect. And if you purely strive for perfection to the detriment of everything else, it can weigh you down. It can stop you from attempting, from risking, and for many, even from participating in all sorts of life's experiences that are necessary for you to learn and grow. The essence of an exciting and fulfilling life is to be continually open to the learning that comes your way. You can fall sometimes, and that can be scary and it can be difficult. But I believe it's absolutely necessary to fall down a few times, because then the getting up is all the more special. Being scared is natural, but fear is something we can all overcome. Earlier this year, we attended our final school camp, version number 3, and completed workshops with Tomorrow Man and Tomorrow Woman. The lessons we learned here are too important not to repeat. Firstly, from Tomorrow Woman, we heard of the expectations and challenges facing young women today, of the stereotypes and structural limitations that still seem to persist in contemporary society, along with a barrage of confusing messages coming from all angles, makes following the beat of your own drum pretty hard. You learnt that you do not need to have followers on Instagram or have videos on TikTok to make a difference. You learnt not to just accept one definition of beauty, not to be afraid to seek help when you're feeling down, and not to allow others to dictate your worth. Be proud of being kind. Be proud of what you know, and be proud to be you. The world is changing, however slowly that may seem. Women before you have pushed boundaries, have refused to accept stereotypes, and have challenged themselves and others for change. Edith Cowan, first woman elected as a Member of Parliament. Millicent Preston Stanley, first woman elected to New South Wales Parliament. Linda Burney, first Aboriginal woman to be elected to New South Wales Parliament. Carmel Tibbett, first female Deputy Premier of New South Wales. Marita Chang, youngest ever Australian of the Year in 2012 and a huge advocate for women working in engineering and technology. Julia Gillard, first female Prime Minister of Australia. I could go on and on. Push boundaries and be proud to do so. Have dreams, hopes and ambitions and chase them with determination and pride. When you feel something is important, be heard, be bold and be determined. Remember that everyone is born with a voice, so use yours with confidence. Be strong, be brave, be proud. During Tomorrow Man, we learned that there's a time and place to be one of the boys. There's also a time and place to say, "Yeah, the boys," to express excitement or admiration for something another male has done, but don't lose sight of what's important in that statement. We will ask the question, what does it mean to be a bloke today, and what do we want it to look like tomorrow? Tim Winton recently wrote, "Boys and young men are so routinely expected to betray their better natures, to smother their consciences, to renounce the best of themselves and to submit to something low and mean, as if there's only one way of being a bloke, one valid interpretation of the part, the role, if you like." We learn that while there seems to be only one way to be a stereotypical bloke, that stereotype is outdated and in many ways harmful. Of course, it's good to be tough. It's good to be the person people might depend on. But it's also good to be vulnerable. Show your mates that you are there for them. Don't be so desperate to fit in that you betray the people you love and care about. The tide is changing for men young and old, and that stereotype is leaving some of our mates, dads, sons, uncles, teammates, workmates and brothers stranded without the tools for a healthy life. Our prime purpose in this life is to help others, and if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. So when you say, "Yeah, the boys," make sure you're actually celebrating what's important. Face the stats and create room. Be the person who breaks the cycle. In both sessions, we practiced having a no-holds-barred conversation. It's now up to you to continue it, to break the stereotypes for men, women, and everyone in society. If you were judged, choose understanding. If you were rejected, choose acceptance. If you were shamed, choose compassion. Be who you needed when you were hurting. Allow people the space to be themselves, no matter their colour, race, religion, or orientation. There is nothing scarier than showing the world who you are. But when people are given the opportunity to show themselves, amazing things happen. Pave your own unique path. This pandemic has changed all of our lives. We learned what was important in the world. We learned that we have to have each other's backs. We have to show up for each other. And the only way to do that is through meaningful conversations and meaningful connections. No matter how hard or how awkward, the conversations need to be had. Speaking with gravity to our friends, to our family, to our colleagues and our mates. Sometimes all it takes is a phone call. Check up and have a chat. It can make a huge impact. It might not even seem like it to you, but it could change someone's life. It's okay to have bad days, and as I've said to many of you, life comes in peaks and troughs. We need to remember that there is always something good just over the horizon. But when that trough is tougher than the last, put your hand up, ask for help. And if you're the person they might call, hold space, listen, don't be judgmental, be a friend. You're about to start the next adventure, whether that's university, TAFE, employment, or a gap year. For some of you, the transition will be seamless, out into the world, forging your own path. For others, it might be a little rough. Losing 13 years of structure might be a little daunting, but you'll come out the other side and succeed. Don't become idle. Continue to look for your next opportunity to grow and learn. An idle mind gets bored, but you can change and grow at any time, so don't be afraid to. Over your past 6 years at Ku-ring-gai High School, there have been some bumps, many bumps, lots of bumps. There have been some hard times, but there have also been so many good times. So many times where I've been proud to be your year advisor. Each and every one of you should be proud of what you've achieved here. I'm going to revert to that traditional speech structure and wrap up with a thank you. It's a thank you to you, Year 12, every single one of you. Thank you for letting me into your lives, to celebrate the peaks and to ride out the troughs. It has been a privilege to spend time with each and every one of you, whether that's a casual conversation or a deep conversation as we do laps of the school. Thank you for allowing me to make mistakes and not picking on me too often. I'm proud of each and every one of you. It's easy to write that into a speech and not necessarily mean it, but every single one of you has made me proud. No matter what the result is at the end of January, you should also be proud of yourself. Like all good speeches, I do want to end with a quote. However, it's not your traditional graduation ceremony quote. Kids, you'll move mountains, or you have brains in your head and feet in your shoes. Dr. Seuss is great, but I want to leave you with a thought. So if you don't fit in, if you feel at odds with the world, if your identity is troubled and frayed, if you feel lost and ashamed, it could be because you have retained the human values you were supposed to have discarded. You are a deviant. Be proud. School is a bit of a bubble. We've done our best to prepare you for the world, but now that bubble has burst. The world of possibilities is opening up. Remember the lessons you have learned, stay humble, be you, and go out and start whatever the next chapter looks like. Thank you.